Hey, welcome. It's Monday. Thank you for all tuning into the live stream today. Took a day off last week, so this is actually the 15th of Journeys Webcast. So that's like 2 straight weeks in a row. Started this as a whim, as you guys all know who've been here before and attended these, or maybe watched some of the replays. But now it's like a full-time job practically, isn't it? Huh? So we've got a few things. This is definitely a different one. I don't have a guest today because I really wanted to see. Oh, I do. I do have a guest. I do. I've got a guest right here. Okay. So this is a cat. Okay, you guys can see that. This cat's name is Dar. You could probably see that. And a little color. Oh, really? You don't want it? You mean I didn't sign your union card? Okay. So, short guest, but anytime Dar hears my voice like this, sits in the window here, looks out and watches the birds and things. And of course, now she hears me talking and wants to see what's the action. Okay. So yeah, we're doing something different because I wanted to bring in some people. Rudy. Okay, nice. Yes, it is a full-time job. I wanted to bring you guys in. You know, I can only bring one person in at a time. There is a way, and I know some people have sent me email. I think Adele from, she's in Peru. She may drop in for a few minutes, talk for a few minutes. I'm going to share a little bit of an update first and kind of tell you what's going on in my wacky brain, because it's been since the middle of June. I had a vertigo episode. But before we get into talking about that, I want to ask, how are you guys doing? I mean, here we are. It's August. Can you believe this? August. And while there was this big rush, I think, that we thought things were going to open up, go back to somewhat normal. I mean, at least we might be able to go out to eat, go have a cocktail somewhere, or shop, or, you know, travel somewhere. But it seems like we're in reverse gear now. It seems that the pandemic is not getting better, and it's not only our country; it's others as well. You know, there are those that have fared. Our blue passport, the U.S., what I used to call the golden blue, is not so favorable anymore, because we are personas non grata and in a lot of the places around the world. So travel is stagnant. But you know, have you found something new? I mean, I found this webcast, and okay, Adele walked in. Great. We're gonna bring you in a minute, Adele. I don't know how much time you have, but we want to bring you in a second. But have you found something new in this time? Have you discovered a new hobby? I mean, we all hear the stories about people are baking more, maybe they're gardening, maybe reading books more. What are you doing? Put some notes here in the chat window. Let us know what you're doing, and come on there. Now, for those of you not chatting, and I can see we've got quite a few people in the room. There is a thing there that is, you can raise your hand if you want to speak, and that'll let me know that you want to come on, so I can kind of queue a few people up. Yeah, very Hitchcock. Sure, Maria. So that's kind of thing. So here's the thing. In middle of June, in the middle of the night, taken to the hospital because I thought I was having a brain aneurysm. Turns out it's a vertigo incident. This led me to a journey that's whole different than anything else. I am uncomfortable about getting on a motorcycle because vertigo is related to the ear canals, and your vestibular nerve connects to your ear as well. And I'm not very steady. And the doctor, when I first saw him, they put me on some antivirals, because what happens a lot of times, surfers, swimmers get ear infections, and that can trigger virus in the vestibular nerve. There's also these crystals that form in your ear, or that are in your ear, that break loose and then get stuck on the hairs of one of the 4 different ear canals. In my case, it's probably been viral related, because they couldn't diagnose that there were these crystals that fell. So what the doctor first did is gave me an antiviral and also jacked me on some steroids. The first steroids were methylprednisolone. I don't know if I said it right. And the way steroids, I never had steroids before, but the way that you take these, look at this. It looks like the see if we can get it in focus. It looks like the coronavirus case count curve. You start by taking a big dose, and then you trim it down every day, and then you wean yourself off of them. Now, when I went back to the doctor and said, these things didn't help me, I'm still, you know, walking around crooked and not feeling right, lightheaded all the time. He says, this is kid stuff. Let's just go all at it. Are you okay with this? Let's go with the big man stuff. So he puts me on this stuff. This is prednisone. And I am on this prednisone. My last day will be tomorrow. I started off with like 3 tablets for 3 days, 2 tablets for 3 days, 1 tablet. Now I'm on half tablets. So I've been doing this. That'll be my 10th day. That'll be the end. But I'm still, you know, swimming out there in the ground. But anyway, so that's how I've been dealing with this. I have been. Nice to see you're doing a garden out there in Peru, Adele. I have a little patio garden, growing some cucumbers and tomatoes, and it's been kind of fun. But since this is you are the guest, by the way, my wine is a rosé, and it's from Santa Barbara County, from Etude. Okay, so get that in focus for you. So if you have a beverage, an adult beverage or not, join me and let's toast to our journeys together and apart. Okay. So let's see. Adele, let's talk about your garden. We're going to bring you in, and I see Rudy Maxa is in here. We're going to bring him in. He was actually a full-time guest too. This is so cool. Okay, so I think what I can do is I've never done this before. So this is technology there. I am right now, Adele, inviting you in as a presenter. And you'll probably have to go through, test your microphone, test your camera, but let's just see how that works. So I did that. And then I think you have to accept it, and we'll see. So while Adele is getting dialed in here, we'll see if she can get in. I wanted to, Daniel Byers, all right. From Brazil. Oh,
I went outside because I'm in a beautiful place. I got to show this off. I was in the house, and the view from the window is not very good. But the view from my garden, well, it is good normally. Look at the view. This is where I live. Can you hear me?
Oh my, yes, we can hear you great. Wow.
These are the Pisac ruins. They're all They're supposedly Inca ruins. There's a pyramid over there. Do you see it?
Yep, I see the pyramid. You love pyramids.
I do love pyramids. And you see the we call it the happy man, but there's a face.
I can kind of see a face there. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, there's all kinds of stuff up there in my beautiful mountains. So I feel very blessed to be here.
Well, that's great. That's so nice. Thanks for sharing that with us. So whereabouts are you in proximity to, say, Lima, the capital, or the infamous Machu Picchu?
I'm on the other end of the Sacred Valley from Machu Picchu. I'm in Pisac, and there's the Urubamba River, which changes names several times, and I'm at the base of that, about an hour and a half from Ollantaytambo, which is where you get the train to go into Machu Picchu. So I've been here since March. I was actually in Urubamba, which is in between, in March with a group of clients when this all started, the lockdown started. So we were quarantined, and they stayed about a month. And once we got them evacuated out, I moved to Pisac. To
Pisac, yes. Okay. I mean, it looks magical. Now, are you there by yourself?
I am.
You are.
Yes, by myself.
So, you know, we exchanged some email there, and I know that you are also a a keynote speaker, coach, presenter of sorts, and you have some interesting things that you do. But you're participating in the National Speakers Association, the NSA. And remember, this is the NSA, the people that talk but don't listen. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, Alan, but
so you're attending a virtual conference, and I've attended that conference 5 or 6 times, and you know it attracts over 1,000 people, typically in a good year. What was it like to attend a virtual conference where you know how did that work? Explain.
Well, it's still going on. In 20 minutes, I'm going to get back on it.
Yeah.
It's starting back, but it's actually been amazing. And I too probably attended 5 or 6 before I left the States in 2014. And those conferences, as you know, are really fun. They're fun people. Yes, they're speakers, and speakers like to talk versus listen. I agree. But this one has been probably my favorite, which is really interesting to say. No real hugs, but it's an amazing group of people, and there's 500 registered, just over 500 registered instead of 1,000 or more.
Okay.
It's hitting in, like, I wouldn't be able to attend if I were here in Peru because it was supposed to be in Washington, I think, this year. And but it's been, today we had a man named Chris Ulmer, who is all about special books for special needs. He did our closing ceremony, which was amazing. We were all in tears, and they've just really done a beautiful job, as they always did. But this one, to me, has been very special because I was able to attend. Even
you were able to attend, but how does it logistically work? So are you using Zoom? Are they using a proprietary system? What's the platform?
It's mainly Zoom. They are using it's mostly Zoom, but we're not seen. It's not like you've done, other than in breakouts. They do some breakouts.
So yeah, I was going to say, so you do have the ability to go into breakouts, and then that main thing is, wow, that is fascinating. Since you got the platform here, you're on the Journeys Webcast. How did your journey get you to Peru today? I mean.
Well, as you can relate, Alan, I felt it was time to leave the States for a while. And back in 2014, I got the message, it's time to go. So I sold everything. Was in a beautiful condo and had a nice sports car and beautiful things. And
where were you living in the States?
Oh, Dallas, in Dallas.
Okay.
Near downtown Dallas, a beautiful place. And it was just, my boys we were in college getting ready to finish, and I decided it's time to go. So I got rid of everything, gave them, they had actually, by that time they were out of school, but barely, and gave away everything and moved to Bosnia, where, as you said, I love pyramids, and I helped excavate the largest pyramids on the planet, the tunnel systems there. And they are real. For those of you who've read online that the Bosnian pyramids are a hoax, they are not a hoax. They are absolutely real. So I left the States, and I've never looked back. That's been 6 years now. I've lived in Asia, South Africa, done a lot of what you've done. And we actually met when you were finishing Montenegro and I was moving there. Right.
You sent an email out of the blue. You said, who's in Montenegro? And somehow I came up in a search engine, huh? Yes, yeah, that's amazing.
Beautiful country. And yeah, it's been a really beautiful journey. And now that I'm getting back into what I was doing before, I'm starting, I think I've told you about the joy codes. I'm realizing my legacy for the planet is to help share joy and help people realize we don't have to live the lives we thought we had to live. We can do whatever we want, and we are blessed to do that. And I don't know where the money comes from to support my journey, because sometimes it's pretty tough. And it just shows up. Total trust.
Total trust. The joy, say it again.
Joy codes.
The joy codes.
Of you. Joy, journey of you. And it's just the idea that we each have this joy inside of us, and we just have to look for it. And as you know, Alan, years of what didn't look like joyful things going on in our lives turned out to be our biggest blessings, right?
Right. I mean, exactly. You know, that you'll always find when you think you're at the end of the road, and cheers to you. It's good to see you're drinking some vino. Okay. Cheers. There we go. at the end of every road, you'll always find a new beginning, and you know, problems are opportunities in disguise. So absolutely, good for you. I love that story, Adele, and I want to hear, where can people learn more about you and get more information on the Joy Codes?
Thank you. I am relaunching right now. I've just started. I'm starting Kajabi. So if All Good International is my website right now, and it will be Adele Good at adelegood.com. So
okay.
That's ADELE or adelegood.com, excuse me.
AdeleGood.com, and it's ADL. Maybe just put a link in the chat when you go off of here, so people can see that. And
I'd be happy to do that.
And that would be great.
Yeah, so, I like you, Alan. I love to inspire people. I love to help people realize what their dreams are, and life doesn't have to be what we thought it was, right?
Exactly. And before I let you go, do you have a question for me? Since I get to grill you, you know.
I like that idea. Well, I would ask about your health, but we'll talk about that later because you've kind of updated us a little bit. Yeah, why'd you come back? Because you've been on this. Were you planning to head back to on the road, and then this stopped you?
You know, I've been kind of taking chunks of the summertime to do my travels, come back to the States and work on my book, work on my you know, I was doing a TV show, and we had been pitching that very hard, so I had to always come back to try to see where my next journey was going to take. So all of my travels were to gather content for new books, my YouTube channel, and certainly we've been pitching a TV show that did air, pilot did air on the Travel Channel a couple years ago, and so that's kind of always been on the docket. So I've resolved to not necessarily be a complete expat outside the States for my life, but to travel at long 3 to 4 to 5 months at a time and come back here and then somehow take that, share those stories through various medium.
Which have been wonderful. I have loved, I think I was on your first journey call, and I've been on almost all of them listening, and I can relate, of course. And
of course, yeah.
I really enjoyed them. As you know, we've talked about that. So thank you, Alan, for this. I didn't know this was happening, so.
No, this is fantastic. We've got, looks like even my brother Jonathan is on. We're going to bring him on as a guest. Dan Byers is a motorcyclist in Brazil. I'm going to try to bring him on. You know, stay tuned as long as you can. And this is real fun for me because I wanted to, you know, instead of having a guest to look at the people that have been, you know, just following the journeys. So thank you, Adele.
Lovely idea. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Alan. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye. Ciao, ciao. Daniel, I'm gonna invite you as a presenter. So you probably are gonna get an invite. It's gonna ask you to check things out on the microphone and that. Then we're gonna bring in Jonathan. I think Rudy Maxa. And you know, let's see if we can get we got another guest while we wait for Dan. Oh, well, that's another cat. There is another cat I'm fostering here. So let's just see as a presenter. So all right, Dan Byers. This is great. He's 22 weeks in Brazil on a motorcycle. There you go. There we go. Daniel Byers, how are you?
In what way?
Meaning, I mean, it's 22 weeks in Brazil. Did you ever think you'd spend that much time in one country?
No, on this trip, there's been a couple times where I've exited a country and gone back in to get another 90 days. But yeah. No, it's kind of a weird fucked up thing. You know, when I entered Brazil, I was with another rider, German rider that I had been riding with since Christmas. And we met in San Pedro de Atacama on the way south.
Okay.
And when we were heading back north, along with some other people we were riding with, we kind of had like a 6-rider group that we were off and on together since Christmas. He was originally going to get his bike shipped back to Germany in Buenos Aires. And another rider we were with was a British rider with his girlfriend from Alaska. And they also had reservations to ship their bike back to England. And Sam and Mystery got to Buenos Aires first and had no issues. Olaf and I, the German rider, and I were about a week behind. And when we got into Buenos Aires, they canceled his shipment and said they didn't know why. And we had been hearing some, it's weird, Alan, you don't really glue yourself to the news pages when you're on this kind of a ride for so long because, without getting too terribly political, I was extremely fed up with things in my country. I quit a very good corporate job the day after our current president was elected, and I decided I really needed to leave and spend some time doing the things I dreamed about. And we had heard about the virus, and we knew it was going on, but literally the day we crossed from Argentina into Brazil at Foz do Iguazu at the waterfalls.
At the waterfalls, sure. Yep.
We stamped out of Argentina, no problem. And then when we went to the stamp into Brazil, all their computers went down. And Olaf and I and some Puerto Rican guy, we got to spend like 4 hours in the office of the head of the federal police of Brazil at the border while he kept filling out handmade forms and trying to get the computer back up. And during that 4-hour period, he told us, hey, you guys know about this virus? And we said, yeah, we heard about it, And he said, I have an email from a friend of mine in the government that said the border's closing in 2 days. And we really didn't know. We really didn't know what to do.
Yeah, 2 days. That doesn't give you any time to do it.
That would be. We didn't. Right. So we rode across the border, and we rode pretty hard that day to Curitiba. We got the apartment, and sure enough, the borders slammed shut. And it's such a wild trip. It ended up the guy who owned the Airbnb apartment in Curitiba was like a Satan worshiper. Swear to God. And it was a really bizarre 3 days in Curitiba. So we headed to Joinville, Brazil, which is about 7 hours south of Sao Paulo. And we got another Airbnb apartment. We stayed there a month. And the apartment owner was being told by Airbnb not to allow us to re-register because we were foreigners.
Okay.
And so I've been, I started Facebook shortly before I started this trip just to network with people, and it's worked out pretty incredibly well as far as finding tires in the middle of nowhere in Chile or whatever.
Yeah. Certainly a great resource.
Yeah, there's a couple really good Facebook groups that were founded by Mitchness Oliver. Are you familiar with Mitchness?
Which group? I'm maybe not him, but maybe the group, because I'm
Mitchness and his wife Elsby have been on the road from South Africa for like 5 years now.
Okay.
And they have a website and an Instagram. And Mitchness is a professional photographer. Their group is called Peaky Overland.
Oh, okay. I follow their Instagram for sure. Picky Overland. Yeah. Yep.
Long story short, we joined a couple of his Facebook groups and found a dude in Joinville who said, hey, we didn't know at that point how long we would be here. And Olaf, the guy I'm riding with, he's from East Germany, and he was 14 when the wall went down.
Okay.
And he's a really nice guy, and we're very close friends, and he's an insanely good mechanic, but he's very right-wing. He's a very right-wing East German. He thinks that the virus is a hoax. He doesn't wear a mask.
Oh, great. You know, is he still with you?
No. About a month ago, after 2 months here, he started accepting invitations from Brazilians to travel around the country. And so he's been doing lots of little group rides. And his Facebook page is filled with pictures of him and these guys in packed restaurants, partying, no masks.
And Brazil is out of control with the virus, as we yeah.
And a couple of times, Olaf came back to the apartment here to get things or to check in. And he, up till that point, he was splitting the cost of the apartment with me. A couple times he came back. I was like, get the fuck away from me, man. And he was like, what? And I said, look, 6 feet, wear a mask.
Yeah.
And he would say again, you know, oh, that's bullshit. My mom's a doctor in Germany. This is all a hoax. And I said, hey, believe what you want, you know. And I said, but if you can't split the rent with me, I'm going to have trouble affording this place. And this guy in Joinville we met on Facebook, his parents own a hostel in Brazil here. And they're giving, and after Olaf left, they're giving me an extremely good rate. It's costing me about $350 a month.
Ah.
2-bedroom apartment, full kitchen. It's winter here right now, so it's off season.
Yeah.
There's maybe one other guest a week besides me. And mask use is thick in Brazil. I mean, you can't go near the grocery store without mask, temperature check. If you try going for a ride along the coast, and I've gone on, it's beautiful here. It's literally stunningly beautiful.
Are you in San Pedro or Rio Grande do Sul? Is that the state you're in? Which?
No, the state I'm in is Santa Catarina.
Oh, Santa Catarina, so near Florianopolis. Okay.
And no, I'm north of Florianopolis. I'm in a very small, like a tourist village called Praia do Estelario.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
It's a section of the coast that's praia after praia after praia.
Yes, beach. Yes. And
this little village has like 2 posadas and a couple restaurants and a couple bars, and I'm in one of the posadas. And honestly, the man and the woman that own the place, Emma and Antonio, are like my parents now. I've been here. She brings me fresh meals every day. She is very serious about the virus, and they don't leave the compound much except to go get groceries and Itapema. And her husband, Antonio, and her sons are Bolsonaro supporters, and they were very much like Olaf. It's a hoax. There's no such thing. You don't need a mask. It's all bullshit. But now it's kind of funny and sad at the same time. Now, what's happening in Brazil is the same shit that's happening in the U.S. is that the large metro areas where people are just packed in like sardines are starting to plateau after thousands and tens of thousands of people have died. Yeah. And now it's spreading to the smaller suburbs and the smaller cities. And Praia do Estelario just had a couple deaths recently. And so Emma has always taken it seriously, but now you can see her husband and her sons are wearing masks all the time now.
It's a reality check.
Yeah, it probably didn't hurt that the president of Brazil caught COVID.
Yeah. So what are the prospects for you? What do you think is going to happen? And for you, how are you going to get out of there? And where would you go?
Like a lot of people, I cashed to do this. Sold all my toys, sold all my motorcycles, quit my job, sold my house, sold my car, cashed in my 401k because I was only at that job for 5 years, so it really wasn't that much. But at the beginning of the trip, I had enough money at a very large daily budget, to be on the road a couple years. the problem is, after my first year, I ended up in the hospital in Oaxaca, Mexico. I had a colon rupture.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
I went sepsis, and they found me unconscious like hours from death.
Oh, my God.
And
yeah.
so I spent a month in a hospital in Oaxaca. And when that was all done, they told me I shouldn't continue the trip. I needed to have a couple surgeries done within 6 months. And so I panicked and I rode my motorcycle from southern Oaxaca all the way back to Ohio. But rather than ride straight back to Ohio, by the time I went into the United States, I was feeling better. So I, like a dumbass, I went up to the West Coast, rode the West Coast up to Oregon, got on the Trans-America Trail, rode the Trans-America Trail east all the way back to the Smoky Mountains, rode back home to Ohio in November while it was snowing. So I didn't have a house, so I stayed with my father. Sold some more of my doodads, and I've been collecting. One of my biggest hobbies is looking for old relics and things with a metal detector. And I've been doing that for many, many years, and I'm very good at it. And I had large collections of coins and valuables. And I sold a bunch of stuff. And then I was at home for 3 months. And after raising money for a couple months, I flew to Mexico, had the same doctor that treated me in Oaxaca do the surgeries. He gave me the thumbs up, said, colon looked good, everything looked good. Flew back to Ohio, and when I got back to Ohio, I kind of did the math at a lower budget. I'm like, fuck, I got enough money to go again. I mean, I really want to see Ushuaia. I don't want to give up on the dream, you know, and so I left for the second time.
Okay.
And you know, I'm a little bit more careful now about what I eat and how much stress I'm 60 years old now, and I've spent 3 birthdays on the road now since I left.
Wow. Well,
So
I
was going to get out of here. Okay, getting in a short nugget. I've been on the road for so long, and I've had so many complications like the surgeries and return to Ohio. My funds are down to the bottom. Okay, and so like every day I look at my 2 debit accounts, and I get the calculator out, and I do the math, and I do the math, and I do the math. And at the same time, I'm not desperately, but wow, it's so weird looking at myself in the camera. I just shaved off a full beard for the first time in years.
Oh, really? Well,
I look like a monkey.
I'll tell you what, I haven't had a haircut in about 2 months, but you know, I don't have a lot of hair up here anyway, but it's just when it gets a little out.
I had hair in like 4 years.
Oh,
but anyways, if this had happened earlier on in the case, I would have gotten some quotes to ship home from Brazil, and I would have said, fuck it. I would have paid whatever and done it. But right now, I'm finding out that even in the best of situations, Brazil is not the place you want to ship a motorcycle or a vehicle in or out of. And the quotes I've gotten 2 valid quotes, one for air and one for ocean, and they're fucking outrageous. I mean, the amount of cost to get my bike home is more than the bike is worth.
right.
And the problem is, I know it sounds stupid to a lot of people. I really become attached to motorcycles. I ride a lot. I know that sounds funny, but I really don't want to get rid of this bike. And I mean, I really don't. I've done a lot of crazy things on this bike. And it's taken me some insane places.
What kind of bike are you riding?
It's a 2011 DR650, but it's extremely highly modified.
Okay.
I mean, the only stock thing on the bike is the motor, carburetor, and airbox. Those are untouched. I didn't bump up the horsepower. I didn't open the carb up. I didn't open up the airbox for a few extra horses. I didn't do anything. I wanted maximum dependability, maximum miles per gallon. 38 horsepower is plenty. You know?
Yep.
But the rest of the bike, from the frame up, is completely been redone. It's got a KTM Dakar rally fairing on the front, you know, a 9-gallon gas tank, custom suspension, you know.
Yeah, exhaust, I'm sure. Yeah.
So the plan is to keep hanging out here because it's so nice here. And the people are so nice. And if I go home to Ohio, I'm right in the thick of the virus anyways.
Yeah, well, you're
And
damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, if I go home to Ohio, I miss my father terribly, and my son, who's in graduate studies in Boston University, I miss him. I miss a couple friends, but aside from that, and I'm not an expatriate, or I'm not a communist or anything. I really don't miss the United States much, and I've ridden my motorcycle or various motorcycles through every state, all over the United States, hundreds of thousands of miles. I enjoyed myself in Latin America so much that one option is to try to get into Uruguay. There's a rumor going on that's being supported by the Minister of Health from Uruguay. He's trying to convince their government to allow people to cross into Uruguay's land border with a positive COVID test. I'm sorry, a negative COVID test.
Okay.
They're even discussing that the government of Uruguay will administer the test. If I can do that, I can get Montevideo easy, and there's multiple options for shipping out of Montevideo.
Yeah. You know, have you followed L West and Jeremy Craker?
Yeah, we chat all the time, and L is setting up a big group Zoom chat soon for a bunch of different people stuck down here.
Okay. Wow, Daniel, I thank you for coming on and sharing that. Let's stay in touch. If there's anything I can do at this end here, you know, you've got a resource. I know you've got, you know, through all these great motorcycle groups. I feel for you, and I know how you feel about Latin America, though, because you know, I spent over a year and a half there, and
I've been here over a year. You know.
Yeah, it truly, the people there, and yeah,
it's so crazy. Two different people's opinions on the same trip, like myself and the East German, right? We go through the same high Andes villages in Peru, the same crazy death roads in Peru, the same death-defying, dizzying. Peru is my favorite country so far to ride through, but we went through the same amazing roads and areas in Peru. We come out of it, and I'm like, well, so what's your favorite country? I go, oh, by far, Peru. He goes, Peru? The people are so rude. And I go, what? He goes, you know, you go in Peru and you say, you know, hola or buenos dias. They look at you. I go, well, they should look at you. You're like a freaking alien getting off your bike in the middle of their village. I go, this isn't Mexico where everybody knee-jerk reaction is Buenos Dias. You can't go through a crowd of 100 people without hearing Buenos Dias 1,000 times. I said, right? And I said, and you're going to blame the people for that reaction? I said, what do you think? You expect them to kiss your ass and bow down to your tourism? You know, I said, some of these villages we're talking about, like Carras and Chacas and stuff up in the Andes, those people don't see too many big loaded bikes with 6'2" Americans getting off of them, you know.
And they may be speaking an indigenous language, you know, as well.
Yeah.
On top.
It's so weird. After spending 2 years trying to improve my Spanish, I get stuck in a country that speaks Portuguese.
Oh my God! Yes, there you go. You get good at Spanish. There's some. You know, when I was there, people used to joke with me. I learned a little bit of Portuguese, but they always said, Alan, you speak Portuñol, which is when I didn't know the word in Portuguese, I just used the word in Spanish. And a lot of times it worked.
It's so mind-bending.
Yeah.
It's so mind-bending. Like I'm throwing this out there, but like 48% of Portuguese and Spanish are similar. You know, the same word almost, spelled slightly different, pronounced exactly the same.
Yep.
And then the very next word in Spanish and Portuguese is like 1,000 degrees apart. And you're like, what the fuck? What? And you talk to someone that knows both Spanish and Portuguese here in Brazil, and they laugh because most Brazilian people, or most people in Brazil that speak Portuguese, they understand most Spanish.
Most Spanish, yeah. So you can get by.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to bring on another one of our viewers. Stick around and let's stay in touch. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry for the problems, and you know, but you're in good community, at least virtually.
Yeah. Hey, worst case scenario, sell the bike. I already have a buyer in Rio that loves DR650s, wants my bike for all the add-ons. I could sell the bike and fly home, but I really don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, hang out, see what happens. Be well.
All right.
Godspeed.
Carl.
Yep.
Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it.
Okay, let's see if we can get Jonathan to join us for a bit here, and then Rudy. I hope Rudy's still on, and we want to get a couple words in from Rudy. Anybody else in the room? Please put a thing in the chat. We'd like to have you come up. Crazy story with Daniel there, man. Oh, I feel so bad. You know, being at least he's on a beach in a beautiful place. But that's one thing. Okay, Rudy's there. Let's see if Johnny's drinking the 2015 Quinta de Leda de Casa Faranena. Aha. Johnny, are you there? Okay, here we go. We're going live with Jonathan. For those of you on that know, Jonathan is my brother. All right, well, we'll try to go back to them later, I guess. They're having technical difficulties. Let's see, Rudy. Let's bring in Rudy Maxa. While John figures that out, we'll go back for John here in a minute. Yeah, you know, a lot of these Journeys webcasts that I've been doing, I have connected with people who've been locked down, like Jeremy Craker and Elle, his girlfriend down there in Uruguay. Ryan Pyle was in Istanbul up until about 3 weeks ago. He's finally made it to Europe. Okay, Rudy's coming into the room. Rudy. Because you use the same technology.
I had to turn on my beauty light there for a moment.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm looking good.
You look real good. You look real good.
So your friend down in Brazil should know that Cy Vance, the U.S. attorney investigating Trump in the Southern District of New York, tipped his hand today that he's investigating Trump for bank and insurance fraud.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the conspiracy in D.C., the thing is, you can ask Jonathan about this if he comes on. Will Trump pardon himself, which is legal if he gets indicted, or if he loses the election, between the election and Inauguration Day, he resigns so that Pence becomes acting president for a month or two, and then Pence pardons him. There you go. I'm just saying.
Wow. Is this just like a breaking news that just happened, like while we've been on the air here?
I think so. I actually have the news on most all day, but I just turned it on when about an hour ago, and it just came on while you were talking. I saw it I had the television on mute behind me, and I saw it on the Chiron at the bottom of the screen, and I thought, just as your friend was saying, I left because I'm not crazy about the government of the United States. So you might be happy to hear that. So yeah, I'm a Zin today, so I don't know why. I just felt like a Zin. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're having a Zin. Okay.
Sometimes you need something a little racy, you know?
Yeah, you do have to be a little racy. So is it a domestic Zin here, California? Yeah,
I got a friend who apparently has been buying wine. I should have looked this up and been smarter about it. From a California winery called the Benchland Wine Estate, Michael Schlumberger. Never heard of it.
I have heard of them, but I can't say. I mean, it's been years since I've had any of their wines. I think they're in Sonoma. Oh, that's
hey, there was this incredible sale, and so I said, "Well, I don't know anything about it." He says, "Well, it's pretty good. You ought to look." So I looked up the sale. They're selling. I don't know if they still are, but when I ordered this, I don't know, 8 or 9 days ago, they're basically selling all their $50 bottles of wine for $20. I mean, they're having this like huge clearance sale.
Wow.
And so I bought a case. In fact, when the case arrived, I thought, I didn't order a case of this stuff. And it's got Zin, I've got Burgundy, he makes Syrah, he makes Merlot, he makes Pinot Noir. So I got a mixture of them all. and I just opened the first one, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Wish I could tell you more about it, but it was an impulse buy. You know, it's like, I mean, I guess I could start, you know, sell DVDs for $100 and then announce a sale that they're only $50 each, and there'll probably be a few guys like me. Oh my God, they're half off! I need those DVDs. You know? Anyway,
so you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul. You know
I am in St. Paul. Yeah.
Yep. You know, the ground zero for the recent upheaval and protests in this country for racial injustice. How are things looking there now?
Well, you know, we quieted down by the time everybody else in the United States started getting all excited in the streets. So we sort of got left behind. We were only, you know, there were a lot of problems here for 2 days. Not enough time for the White House to send in troops. But an interesting thing, somebody sent me something this morning, you know, all this stuff that goes around on social media, saying that someone in city government or someone in the police department, don't quote me on any of this, but the bottom line was the police told people, if someone tries to steal, comes up to you and tries to steal, you know, your wallet or your iPhone or something, the police can't help you. Just give it to them. And there was all this excitement about this. Oh my God, you know, this as if there are no police. Except that's good advice anytime. I could get stuck up, you know, in front of what used to be Saks Fifth Avenue on Fifth Avenue. And if a guy had a gun in my back and said, "Give me your iPhone and wallet," I'm not going to shout police. I'm going to give him my iPhone and my wallet.
Of course.
So I was like, this is not new information. You know, it's somebody trying to get everybody all excited. Oh my goodness, we can't call the police if we get held up. That's not what it said. It just said, if someone is, you know, trying to rob you, give them what they want, which has been the advice I've gotten from smart people my whole life. So
yeah, and here's actually a smart traveler trip, a long-term traveler tip. Speaking of that, you know, because people are always worried about, you know, getting held up in a place that might be dangerous. The trick is have a dummy wallet. So create a wallet with some expired credit cards, put $20 in there, and have that as your wallet. So if somebody comes up, holds a gun in your face, you don't give them the one with your passport or with your you know, identification and most of your money and your good credit cards. You give them the other one, and they're going to grab that and run it so fast before they figure it out. They'll probably never figure it out. Right.
What else can I complain about? I have my webcast on Thursday, and I don't have my second guest, and I should have him by now, but I don't.
You don't? Okay, tell us about the you know, I was just thinking, because there's people on here that maybe haven't been and joined you.
Well, I do this webcast every Thursday. Alan and I started about the same time. Actually, I started a week before he did. I was already doing the wine thing, and now he's doing it like, you know, like he thought of it or something.
Hey, you know what?
Anyway, Alan's been a great help for me technically, because he's a wizard, and I didn't even know how to turn on my computer. Well, I did, but he answered a lot of questions and really advanced my webcast further on. I'm a travel journalist, so it's sort of travel oriented, but we talk, you know, we have a broad definition of travel. So, you know, obviously we'll have an author on if he or she has written a book about something that's interesting, you know, like Paul Theroux writes travel books. But we had Phil, what's his name, who does Just Feed Phil on, I think, Netflix, or Somebody Feed Phil, the guy who was the producer of the comedy Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, he was great.
So we had him on talking about his travel series, Somebody Feed Phil. And we have travel analysts on talking about airlines and before Las Vegas opened, what it was going to be like, and then right after it opened, what it was like. Anyway, so I thought I could get Carl Hyacin. Maybe he's watching. Carl Hyacin, the guy who writes all those great funny novels about Florida, old acquaintance of mine. And I made the mistake last week, is I'm going to try to get Carl Hyacin on. And I called him, texted him, and emailed him yesterday and today. I haven't heard back from him. So
Carl, if you're in there.
But I had Tim and Nina Zagat on last week. You know, the guys who created the Zagat guide. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know how that started. They were lawyers, young lawyers. Tim and Nina met as law students at Yale. She went to work for a very prestigious firm, as I said on air, and then Tim found a job somewhere else at a law firm. And but they both wound up in Paris being lawyers, his husband and wife. And all their friends would come to Paris and ask, you know, where should I eat? What restaurants? Rah, you know, the usual.
Yeah.
And so they started a mimeographed thing. Tim said to me, I said that it was a mimeograph. I said, how do you know about mimeographs? I said, I'm an old guy. But they would do this little newsletter. They'd send around friends saying, okay, here's 6 great restaurants or 12, or I just ate here, and here's a 1-paragraph description. And when they moved back to New York, they started doing it in New York for friends. And eventually they started charging for it. And then eventually they had a book. And they sold it, I don't know, for how many millions to Google, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. So the Zagat guides are, and by the way, the print guides are now really all online. Another company bought them from Google. But they do have a New York book out again, and they're going to start printing, actually publish Zagat books for other cities as well. And everybody in the world who don't know Tim and Nina or don't know that world call him Tim Zagat, the Zagat guide, but it's actually Zagat. It rhymes with cat. That's the way to remember it.
Zagat.
With that.
Yeah, because I always call it Zagat, but Zagat. Okay.
Zagat. Yeah.
Yes, the little red books. Yeah.
And the thing I forgot to ask Tim about, excuse me for interrupting. I know you're the host here, but I can't help it. I'm used to being the host. You know what I mean? I forgot in doing my research before they came on, I saw this weird story. I've known Tim forever, known him for a long time. I mean, we're not close friends, but we see each other a lot and have dinner. I think it was 1990, he was sitting in a movie theater, speaking of getting, and some guy attacked him. And I forgot to ask him about that. He wasn't hurt badly, apparently. The guy was arrested. But after the thing was over, after the webcast was over, I thought, oh man, I was going to say, what was that all about? Because I didn't know that about Tim, and you don't much read that sort of thing. And I guess it was a brief item in the New York Post or something. So,
wow, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well,
so are you saying that you still have this? You're still worried about your equilibrium? I heard your whole medical.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, was
it any better?
No.
No,
nothing is spinning. Nothing is spinning. It's not like that night, but it's just a weird. You move your head fast like this, and
former girlfriend of mine had that. Yeah, but she went to 2 sessions where she laid on her side and the guy jiggled all the little ball bearings into the right pocket, and she was fine, and she never had it again, as far as I know. But she hasn't talked to me in 10 years, so maybe that's why she.
Well, the ball bearings weren't. That's not what happened with me. Apparently, mine must have been viral. And the doctor says his data set. And this doctor is his life's passion is vertigo, so he's a specialist. He says that the data sets, 250,000 cases through his clinic, says 6 to 8 weeks. I'm right now heading into my. A 6th week or a 7th. Do
you have more medication to take, or are you at the ending?
Yeah, I'm taking this stuff. This is a steroid, and basically to put the inflammation down, but it doesn't seem to be doing much. And he did say this. Okay, he said, "Look, when you're taking this, which is partly why I didn't go on and do my webcast last week." He says, "Well, it'll really make you feel good, but it'll also make your hand shake. I don't have the hand shaking thing." But he says it could make you irritable, and you could always use that as an excuse.
But you've always been irritable. You're an irritable guy.
I just irritate everyone. I do all the time.
Unlike your nice brother Jonathan.
Yeah. Well, I think John, and then it looks like Tom McDermott's then. So we're gonna bring in a couple more people here. Well,
Tom wants to know how to get a signed copy of your book. Let's pay a little attention there to commerce here.
Yeah. Let's. In fact, and I haven't done any of my little polls here. I'm gonna, see.
What about your book? What about Tom? Sure, Tom, you're gonna get him a signed copy of your book before he clicks off.
Yeah, we're gonna. You can actually get my book right here. Look at this. Here we go. This is not John's book. This is my book. Boom. There we go.
Oh, I thought Tom was asking about your book.
Is he? Let me go. I didn't see the chat. What did Tom say? How do I get a signed copy? Is he asking about?
Tom, you asking about? Jonathan or somebody else's book? You need Allan's book.
Yeah, you need Forks.
I have it right
there. And Maria's right. The paperback is
Can I get the cover and show it? I got it right here, Allan.
Yes, show it. Come on, Rudy. I love it. Rudy, pimp my book. It's always good when you have a spontaneous guest of the Journeys Webcast who has a copy of Forks handy nearby.
That he can. Uh-oh. I just saw it the other day. I have it here.
It might be in the kitchen. You might have been cooking with it.
No, I wasn't cooking. Well,
I'll tell you what. I've got one here.
Okay. I'll find it as soon as we bring off. That's weird.
I'm going to go and bring on Jonathan, since he seems to be engaged. It's Maria, but it's Jonathan. And
Jonathan goes by the name Maria. That's interesting.
I know, isn't this something? One time I was doing
ABC on my TV. Now I got MSNBC on. Is that to piss off Maria, aka Jonathan?
Hey, I just read that the #1 highest rated show on television for like the last couple months is the ABC Evening World News Tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. That in this time, because there's no sports, there's no 60 Minutes, there's no, all of this stuff, right? That people are going and watching broadcast news, which I don't, it kind of had been falling out of favor over the years. I mean, the great news shows of yesteryear, Walter Cronkite era, of course, would be the golden era, but yeah. No, so the ratings are doing good. So Johnny is getting a lot of people watching.
And his book is doing well.
And his book is doing
well, by the way.
Yeah, I have his book. It's actually out in my living room.
Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Forks is right here. I've got it propping up the computer. Hang on.
Oh,
I knew I had it right. I knew I had it right here. Bear with me here. Bear with me here, because of course, I don't know how am I going to prop up put this thing here.
Well, you know what? You're going to need to buy another copy.
One to prop up the computer, and the other to.
Yeah, you need just a copy of Forks for a computer propper. There it is. Okay, that's the hardcover. Yep, and there.
Oh, the hardcover. You said and Maria is saying how do I get this so you can see it? Yeah, there it is.
There you go. Yeah,
there it is. This is a heck of a book.
Almost 300 pages, full color, 35.
Full color, beautifully. I can't get it up high enough for you to see that. But it's really good for propping up a computer if you need it higher when you're doing a webinar as well. It's right in front of me. No wonder I couldn't find it.
That's hilarious.
Are you bringing Jonathan on with me?
I can't, because I'm not upgraded like you. I can only bring one guest on, so I'm going to have to turn you off.
Well, I'm just getting started here, Alan.
I know. I love you. We'll stay around. We'll bring you back.
I'm kidding. All right. Well, say hi to Jonathan for I'm glad he goes by Maria. I could use that in the future. I hope you feel better. I hope your ears hope you get your balance back, because you don't want to be tipsy on a motorcycle in Siberia.
No, not at all. Gotta go.
All right, I'll find myself out here. I think I know what to do.
Okay, let's go ahead and invite in Maria again. Let's see if this will work this time.
I'm on, but I can't see or hear Alan.
All right, so maybe what I'll do is turn off and on.
You. I mean,
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh my God. Come on.
Okay. Okay.
Right, so I got to tell you, we have so we're in North Carolina. This is the COVID situation. We had to just go out of Washington, D.C. and get a place here on the coast for a week. And there's a hurricane coming, by the way, right outside right now. Hurricane on the way.
What is it called?
Isaias or something like that, right?
Yeah, it is. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So what do you do if you're stuck in a beach house in North Carolina waiting for the hurricane to come through? Well, the first thing you do is you break out some Portuguese wine. Okay? Really good Portuguese wine. This is a mix of Tolriga Franca and Tolriga Nacional and a little Viña Mortis too. And we got Maria here, and then I brought a Portuguese chef, and I want to be clear about this. This guy has been sous videing short ribs for the last 48 hours. We just took him out of this makeshift sous vide machine.
He's got a makeshift
on the grill. And Paul, can you bring some over for an example? Can we see what you got? Here it is. So this is. Now this might not have been in the Forks.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
I mean, just sear. I mean, this thing's
but after you sous vide it, you had to go ground it on the cast iron, right?
Yeah. A serious sear on the grill outside.
On the grill, okay.
Even with the hurricane coming in. But we're here. And by the way, I mean, I can't believe you kicked Rudy Maxa off to come to me. I mean, that's insane.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna put up a donation box because for another $200 I could bring in 4 people. But you know what? You know, this webinar platform costs me a lot of money, and I don't sell ads. So I would love to have that. Rudy is he's a little more advanced than me. He's got the upgraded platform. We could have gone on to we could have hacked into his account.
but I got to tell you, I mean, I thought those were some.
Rudy's going to be there in about 14 hours, so he wants you to save some ribs. Okay.
Okay, good. I mean, this is serious stuff, man. I mean, really serious.
It looks like you're doing well. You're doing a lot better than Daniel down in Brazil. That's for sure.
I mean, we're going nowhere near. We're not doing any restaurants. We're not, hitting the taverns the way you like to do. We're just staying in this house, and there happens to, in fact, be a hurricane out there. So, I mean, we got to make it right,
Yeah. It looks absolutely. Well, it looks good in the kitchen right there.
Oh, no, come on! And now he's sliced them up. Look at these things.
Oh my God. Let's see.
Can we get a better angle on this?
Yeah, get a better angle on that. Let's see. Oh, man.
I mean, come on.
Are you kidding me? 48 hours
in the sous vide machine.
48 hours at 131 degrees.
Hi.
Hey there, Karen.
Hey, we miss you.
Hey, we miss you too. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on to the webcast.
She didn't know she was being broadcast over the entire world.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm glad that Rudy brought up Forks, because what a lot of people don't realize is Forks is now available in the paperback, which I'm very excited about, because I know the process that went into making that paperback and how it's effectively a hard. I mean, anyway, it's great stuff. So when are we going to do a joint book event?
Yeah, so we need to, and I know we'll put it on this platform. I think we should do that.
Paul just tried to take my wine, by the way.
That's not very good. I would suggest that you and I do a joint book event. We'll talk about Forks and Front Row at the Trump Show.
Yeah, which is not out in paperback yet.
It's not out in paperback. Let's do it after my doctor appointment. I'm going to see my doc August 12th, and hopefully I'll be fixed by then. And then maybe let's look at your calendar after the 14th.
Okay, we'll do that.
Week of the 14th.
All right. Well, this is good stuff. We're gonna go and we're gonna hit these short ribs, and we're gonna hit them hard. You
go do that hard. I'm gonna see if there's a guy on here, Tom McDermott.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring in one more guest, and we're gonna chat, and then I'm gonna wind down the Journeys webcast for today. And I thank you for popping in and sharing the ribs with us and the wine.
All right, excellent. We'll see you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Are you still out there, Tom? I'm going to go ahead and invite you in and maybe just give a hi. I know I'm pushing past my hour time limit here. We're an hour and 10 minutes almost. But what the hell? So if you see that invitation come through, you'll have to turn on your camera and your mic and say hello to everyone, and then we'll wind down. This has been a fun. Hey, have you guys enjoyed this? Just kind of randomly bringing people in. It would be great to have more than just 2 people on here. I should look to upgrading that, platform. They have these tiers, like all these software services. They give these tiers, and with each tier, they just hold a hostage from some additional features. But I use Webinar Jam. That's what this is actually on. And in fact, I'm gonna play you this is funny because but people say, what are you doing in lockdown? So here's something I did. I made a video. This is when you've got too much time on your hands and you live with a cat. So watch this little video while Tom comes on, and you'll see. It's not even a minute. Here we go. Yeah, so I don't know how many camera angles I had on that video, but obviously we had so many that when you got time on your hands, you create content. You got a cat, you create a cat video, which reminds me that I should actually put up this this other thing. If you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, which, by the way, all the old Journeys webcasts are replayed on YouTube. Go there, because I'm on this this other journey to get 1,000 subscribers, which is not as easy as it sounds. I mean, it's crazy because I've got over 5,000 people on Twitter and Facebook, and I barely have 500 on my YouTube right now. So it's just something I never focused on. So let's do that. I want to see if Tom. Maybe he fell off, and if that's the case, we'll wind this down. But I love cat views. Yes. For people who want to read about Daniel Byer's trip, is that if you go to advrider.com, I'm sorry, not Tom, Daniel Byer's. His thread, his ride report is there, so he's keeping his blog there. So he's keeping it updated. We'll know more about the saga of 22 plus weeks in lockdown for Daniel Byers, advrider.com, and yeah, there you go. Okay, so the one last thing I'm going to show a video, since I think we lost Tom McDermott, but I was talking about the vertigo, and I have this doctor. He had invented this crazy chair. I'm going to share you a part of this thing. This is how they try to diagnose if you have this crystals. And they put me in this chair. This is just only rotates.
But it rotates on
Here we
all
go.
3 axes.
It's a 3-axis rotating chair. Can you believe this? And Dr. Purcell came up with this idea?
Dr. Purcell built upon it and started selling it in other countries, but not in the United States. This was invented by a doctor named Dr. Epley.
Oh, it is that Dr. Epley who did this one. Okay. So this is like a automatic Epley maneuver. Okay. Far out. So do I need to hold on to this? Should I get rid of this video?
Yeah.
Okay.
You also need your glasses as well, because we need to put goggles on.
Oh, we're going to put goggles on. Okay. So I'm going to get off this phone. We'll come back at this very soon. The Epley Omniax chair. So cool. Okay, let me explain what's going on. Right now, Nathan is fitting me with goggles. On one side of the goggles, on one eye, is a very intense macro camera lens. On the other side, it's just a piece of black cardboard. And he tells me that during all these moves to be very careful not to blink, because what he's doing is he's actually filming and watching my eyes move as he moves that chair into many different positions. And what he's trying to do is see if my eye does an abnormal move. Now what happens is in the inner ear, there are 4 independent canals. In vertigo, sometimes crystals in your ear, everybody has them, will dislodge and then get stuck in one of those canals. And what he's able to do by putting me into different positions is to isolate that in case that there is a crystal stuck in one of those canals, the eye is going to move in a certain way when I'm in a certain position, and that'll clue him in as to which of those 4 different canals I may be having a crystal lodged and causing me to be out of balance or to have a crazy vertigo move like I did. So as he shifts my body around, operating that chair as if he's operating a fighter jet, he's watching my eyes very carefully. He puts me into about 4 to 6 different positions, each time telling me to be careful. Finally, after shifting me here, there, and everywhere, he brings me back to center. And he looks at the video, and then he calls the doctor on his walkie-talkie. And
And he tells the doctor that Allan's ears and his eyes seem to be normal. So I can tell that the doctor hesitates for a minute, and then she says, let's do the test again. Except this time, I'd like you to be more aggressive with the moves. I guess you can change the speeds, the angles, and the turns. So he makes sure he checks my belts again, make sure I'm locked down, and checks puts the goggles back on, and goes at it again. And after that test, same results. There's nothing appearing to be lodged or dislodged. No crystals are stuck in any of those 4 different ear canals. So, perhaps the problem is a viral infection to the nerve in the inner ear. They will have a few more tests and even an MRI of my brain, and that'll help maybe determine.
Crazy chair, huh? Anyway, that's kind of what I've been going through. I did have the MRI, and he says I have a beautiful brain, so at least I got that going for me. So no problems with the brain. But anyway, the saga, the journey of Vertigo will continue. I will share in the next Journeys webcast. But meanwhile, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go watch some of the replays. Rudy Maxa, who was a spontaneous guest, I interviewed him a couple weeks ago. A great webcast, and there's plenty others. There's 14 of these, and now this one, it will be 15. So with that ado, I appreciate you tuning in to Journeys Webcast with Allan Karl, me, your host. I will see you next Monday. Watch for your email, and I'll tell you who our guest is. We haven't announced that yet. Thanks again, and I love you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Journeys Webcast. I'm Allan Karl, your host. Be sure to tune us in every Monday. The time changes depending on where we are in the world. This is Allan Karl, and where will your next journey take you?